Yazoo Malagedo. Welcome to the Malaka podcast. Paul Reubens, aka Pee Wee Herman.
What should we do now? I know. Let's go look at my toys.
Ladies and gentlemen, I haven't watched this show since it pretty much aired, and I always remember it being a really just like out there show for 1986. But I mean, holy shit! I don't know what kind of acid Paul Reubens thought of or was doing or just thinking and doing and shit and just I'm just blown away by this intro. I mean, first of all, this intro to a show is 2 minutes and 26 seconds. Now I thought for sure it was like the longest intro. It's not. It's I don't know, some show in India or something has like a 3 minute whatever, and then I forgot about Twin Peaks too. So that's only like I think another like 10 seconds longer. But I mean, like if the intro does not lure you into this show, I don't know what will. Thank you. Now, I'm sorry, I'm still blown away by talking chairs. But ladies and gentlemen, Paul Reubens has passed away. I believe at the age of 70. First of all, I can't believe he was that old. I mean, the guy, I don't know, he must have like a Paul Rudd gene or something. But yeah, unfortunately, he kept it very quiet, and he didn't want a lot of people to know. And but listen, I grew up loving Pee Wee Herman. It was, I mean, this show was so ahead of its time. Yeah, so obviously I'm going to get into that later, but I mean, it's just such a great show, a very iconic character, just the way he dressed and all that. And, but besides that, Paul Reubens was a very talented actor. I mean, he did a lot of voice work and other acting roles. And, I should have did this a few weeks ago, but hey, better late than never. So without further ado, I'd like to talk about Mr. Paul Reubens and his life. And of course, I got to go to Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, because free is always good, especially in 2023, where, let's be honest, we're all recovering from COVID. We're trying to save a couple bucks. It's, I mean, even the napkins aren't free anymore. So I'm sure if they're in Pee Wee's Playhouse, I mean, the napkins would be talking to us, and, again, we'd be having more of these wicked acid trips. But we're going to get into that in a little bit. But I'm going to say but one more time. But let's begin. Paul Reubens, born August 27th, 1952, and passed away July 30th, 2023, was an American actor and comedian widely known for creating and portraying the character Pee Wee Herman. Reubens joined the Los Angeles troupe The Groundlings in the 1970s and started his career as an improvisational comedian and stage actor. Now, for those of you who don't know what the Groundlings are an acting, troupe, obviously. That's in LA. It's very similar to what Second City is. Second City is, for acting classes, and, it's a big vehicle leap for, a lot of actors, especially for a lot of people you've seen in like Saturday Night Live and stuff like that. So I was fortunate to take classes in Toronto location, and there's also the main one, which is in Chicago. So, I mean, if you ever have a chance, if you live in either cities, especially, even the Groundlings too, check them out live. I mean, you could see future stars there. I mean, who knows? But it's very entertaining, trust me. It was with the Groundlings that Reubens developed the Pee Wee character. After a failed audition for Saturday Night Live, Reubens debuted a stage show starring Pee Wee. Okay, now I just want to stop there for a second. I just heard this recently, and now apparently when he was auditioning for Saturday Night Live, it was actually between him and Gilbert Godfrey. So I mean, imagine picking between those two guys. I mean, that'd be pretty tough. I mean, they went with Gilbert Godfrey, obviously. I mean, those years weren't very good. Let's be honest. I mean, if it wasn't for Freddie Murphy, the show probably would have been canceled. It's sad to say that, but I mean, there were a lot of people. Julie Dreyfus was part of that crew, but it wasn't there. You know what I mean? It just, it was after, the not ready for primetime cast, and this was like early 80s. But yeah, if it wasn't Freddie Murphy, forget it. I mean, even Gilbert Godfrey at one point said that they had a sketch where he didn't say anything, and he literally was the body laying in a coffin. I mean, they could have easily got an extra or just somebody, but I mean, that's how, that's how bad the show was. But I don't know. Yeah, so it looks like everything pretty much worked out pretty well for Pee Wee. The Pee Wee Herman Show in 1981. Pee Wee became an instant cult figure, and for the next decade, Reubens was completely committed to his character, doing all his public appearances and interviews as Pee Wee. He produced and wrote a feature film, Pee Wee's Big Adventure, directed by Tim Burton, which was a financial and critical success. Its sequel, Big Top Pee Wee, was less successful. Between 1986 and 1990, Reubens starred as Pee Wee in the CBS Saturday morning children's program, Pee Wee's Playhouse. It was awesome. I mean, waking up, to all these like cartoons and, Ninja Turtles and just a whole bunch of shit. Nowadays, I don't think they have Saturday morning cartoons. I mean, now you can just go on YouTube whenever you want and watch the shit, but I actually gave you an excuse to wake up Saturday mornings. Now that I'm older at 41, I don't wake up till I don't know, at least 12. Reubens was arrested for indecent exposure in an adult theater in Sarasota, Florida in 1991. Now, okay, so we might as well just get this out of the way. Yeah, that shit happened. I mean, when it happened, it was pretty shocking because I mean, this guy, was basically doing like a children's TV show, and yeah, it was pretty crazy. But again, I mean, let's be honest, it did happen in Florida. Okay, so anything goes in Florida. I mean, let's just be honest. I'm dying to do a podcast about Florida, but I just keep finding new facts every day, and I don't know if you have the chance, go on YouTube and look up an alligator eating another alligator. It is literally something out of a movie. It is. I can't even describe it. I don't know how it doesn't have a billion views, but I don't know. But people in Florida, it's just Wednesday. The arrest set off a chain reaction, national media attention. Though he received support from people in the entertainment industry, the arrest postponed Reubens' involvement in major projects until 1999, when he appeared in several big-budget projects, including Mystery Men and Blow. Reubens subsequently started giving interviews as himself rather than as Pee Wee. Of course. I mean, listen, you can only keep up the character for so long. It's like watching Trailer Park Boys. I mean, you prefer to see, those three guys, as their character, but hey, you like to see them as, themselves as well. I mean, where the characters developed and, how the people really are, that's just me. Reubens acted in numerous shows such as Murphy Brown, 30 Rock, Portlandia, and The Blacklist. He received the Pee Wee Herman Show, which he performed in Los Angeles and on Broadway in 2010. He co-wrote and starred in the Netflix original film Pee Wee's Big Holiday, reprising his role as Pee Wee Herman in 2016. Reubens' Pee Wee character maintained an enduring popularity with both children and adults. Playhouse garnered 15 Emmy Awards during its initial run and was aired again on late night television in the 2000s, during which TV Guide dubbed it among the top 10 cult classic television programs. Reubens died in July 2023 from cancer, a diagnosis which he had undisclosed to the public. So there we go. I mean, that says something that, he did what he did, whatever, But I mean, years later, the character was still, you know, it, it was still praised. I mean, it really is an iconic character. And I did have the chance to watch a couple episodes just recently because I haven't watched it since it came out, and yeah, it's it still holds up, man. I mean, it's really crazy. But before I get into that, of course, I'd like to read off a few more facts about Paul Reubens. Okay, the actual actor, not just Pee Wee Herman, but a few facts about Pee Wee Herman, of course. But let's talk about the man himself. So I'm on this website called mentalfloss.com. So let's begin. Pee Wee Herman began life as a groundling. I mentioned this before. Sure, why not mention it again? Pee Wee Herman came about from an extended improv at the Groundlings. Reubens told Mental Floss of the character's origin. He said, we were just given an assignment to come up with a character that one might encounter in a comedy club, and I came up with Pee Wee Herman. Pee Wee's first stage appearance was in 1977. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been to a few comedy clubs in my day. I've never come across anybody that is as crazy and fucked up as Mr. Pee Wee Herman. God bless this man. But at the same time, usually you just meet angry comedians. And don't get me wrong, I love comedians. I'm not knocking comedians at all. It is an awesome way to make a living. If you're good at it and know what you're doing, it's a great way to entertain people. I always tell people, if you ever go to a comedy club, and I think I've said this before, if you think what the comedian is saying on stage is funny, if they stay in there, keep an eye on them afterwards, especially if they're in a group of other comedians, if they're outside smoking, whatever, just eavesdrop. Okay, you're going to hear the most fucked up shit. Maybe there is a Pee Wee Herman in there. I mean, who knows? But I'm convinced some of these stand-up guys and girls are basically waiting to be serial killers, without having the balls to actually kill. So you're going to hear some really crazy shit. But again, yeah, that's cool. He just came up with the character, and there you go. Pee Wee was harmonica. It was? Okay. Bob Dylan would be proud. Reubens said the character's many distinctive traits were a bunch of stuff all mixed in together. The voice came from a stage production that I was involved in, and then the name came from a kid I knew who was kind of off the wall. The name Pee Wee came from a little harmonica I had that said Pee Wee on it. I loved the idea of a nickname because it sounded so real to me. Pee Wee Herman sounds like a name that is so odd. How would you make that up? If you were going to make up a name, you'd make up a better name. It seemed real to me. It was a nickname with a last name that's also a first name, and it went hand in hand with what I wanted to do, which was to make people think this was a real person, not an actor, Paul Reubens said. So that's pretty crazy. I mean, Pee Wee. I mean, the first thing you think of. I mean, me anyways. Like I think of small. I think of like Pee Wee baseball. I used to play baseball. There'd be like different levels, whatever. And Herman. I mean. Yeah, Herman's kind of a geeky name. I mean, it's like Dexter. I mean, it's like the show Dexter, where you think this guy's a geek, but I mean, this guy's just going around. I mean, he thinks he's doing God's work with black gloves on, but could have ended better. But then the last season there recently, that was good. It was a good little wrap up. What was I saying? Oh yeah, So Pee Wee Herman. Yeah, it's a good simple name. People can remember that. Pee Wee was his own man. To further enforce the idea that Pee Wee Herman was indeed a real person, whenever Reubens appeared as Pee Wee Herman, the credits simply lists Pee Wee Herman as himself. There you go. So for a while, he just wanted to keep up that, like he didn't want to break character. Like he was this guy. That's it. So I was wondering. I don't know. Was Pee Wee Herman or Paul Reubens gay or whatever? And I I don't know. I mean, I tried to find something, but I don't know. He went out with Henry Hill's Gumar there in Goodfellas for a while, and some other beautiful women. So I I I don't think he was. It was just one of those things. That just you kind of I don't know. Maybe because he was light in his feet and he was very thin. I don't know. Who knows? But you know. Not that there's anything wrong with that, to quote Seinfeld. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not the only person that ever thought that. I'm just saying. But he did keep up this character, for a long time, and didn't want to break, the fourth wall, as we say in Second City. Pee Wee's suit was a loner, but not a rebel. Okay, please explain. The director and co-founder of the Groundlings, a man named Gary Austin, loaned me his suit, which I never gave back. Reubens said of Pee Wee's now famous gray suit, someone else gave me a kid's black bow tie, which I later changed out for a kid's red bow tie, and the white shoes were mine. That's just sort of what I put on, and I had success with it, so I thought, why mess with it if it ain't broke? There you go. So, by the way, that comes from the saying, if it ain't broken, don't fix it, which I completely agree with. Yeah, so there you go. He just put it all together. Not since Doctor Who or Ernie Johnson has a man done so much with a bow tie. So, me personally, I'm not going to lie. I don't know. I can't stand bow ties. I think bow ties are stupid. I don't know. At one point when Jimmy Kimmel lost weight, he started wearing, kind of silver suits and the bow tie. He kind of had the Pee Wee Herman thing going there, but I don't know. I don't like ties, period. But whatever. Listen, Pee Wee can do what he wants. Pee Wee got the girl on the dating game. In 1979, 2 years after making his stage debut with the Groundlings, Pee Wee made his first of 3 in-character appearances on the dating game. He says, that was a little test experiment I was doing early on. Reubens recalled to Interview Magazine. I went to a cattle call. Cattle? Yeah, it's cattle. A cattle call. I've never heard that. A cattle call. Okay. Moo. Wasn't there a cow in Pee Wee's Playhouse too? All right. Auditioned for the dating game, and before I even got home, they called me back. On one occasion, he even won the date. Okay, so that's true. It's funny because when I first read this, I saw one clip of him on, or the whole segment there of him on the dating game. You can see him or see it on YouTube there, and yeah, he didn't win. It was I don't know if I had to guess. I think maybe out of the 3 guys, he maybe came in second. But yeah, so apparently, yeah, one of them he actually won. So there you go. So again, I'm seeing a pattern here. I think Pee Wee Herman can I don't know he can get some broads. This is it's pretty good. He made his movie debut in 1980. In 1980, Pee Wee made his first big screen appearance as a not-so-sweet hotel employee in Cheech and Chong's next movie. I actually did some work before that, but I'm going to get into that one later. It's pretty good. This Cheech and Chong, those guys are awesome. Pee Wee Herman show was a first for the Groundlings. On February 7th, 1981, Reubens helped to take the Groundlings in a new direction when he premiered the Pee Wee Herman Show, a stage show that became the group's first piece of alternative format programming. Shortly thereafter, it moved to the Roxy, where it ran for 5 months, but it was an adults-only kind of thing. Matinee performances proved to be fun for the whole family. Missy Vaughn, Captain Carl, Jambi, you gotta say it like that. Piteri, is that how you say it? Piteri, yeah, okay. Piteri, yeah, that sounds about right. And Clocky are some of the characters that were there from the beginning. So there you go. Pee Wee Herman gained national attention courtesy of HBO, which aired a taping of one of the Pee Wee Herman show's performances in 1981. So there you go. I mean, HBO was just getting started as well. People were like, oh, what is this? This is extra cable. Fuck, we got to pay extra for this shit. But we get to see Pee Wee Herman do his thing. So that's awesome. He kickstarted Tim Burton's career. God bless him. Following the success of the Pee Wee Herman show, Warner Brothers approached Reubens about turning Pee Wee into a movie star. Though the studio originally had another director in mind, several people mentioned Tim Burton's name to Reubens one night at a party. I screened Frankenweenie. I don't know what that is. It sounds funny though. And I spoke to Shelley Duvall, who was a friend of mine who was in Frankenweenie. Reubens told It Ain't Cool News, in 2012, I knew Tim was the director about 15 seconds into Frankenweenie. I think they just like saying the name again. Like the second or third shot of it. I was looking at the wallpaper in this bedroom and the lighting and just going, this is the guy who has style and understands art direction. Those were two really important things for me and my baby, I guess. And you know, it just happened to luckily all work out. So again, you got Paul Reubens' vision. You got Tim Burton in there. It's forget it. You're gonna make magic for sure. But we're gonna get more into that in a little bit. Pee-wee's Big Adventure was supposed to be a remake of Pollyanna, which I have no idea what that is. The original concept for Pee-wee's Big Adventure took much of its storyline from Disney's classic Pollyanna, which Pee-wee as Pollyanna. Makes sense. Ultimately, this idea was scrapped in favor of the stolen bike road trip idea, though Reubens was able to recycle many of the original ideas for Big Top Pee-wee. I mean, I grew up loving, like, you know, Lion King and Aladdin and all that. So I know Pollyanna. I mean, you know, Anastasia too. Holy shit, that was a. Or no. Was it Fantasia? No, the one with the dancing brooms. I mean, holy. I mean, some of these. Yeah, you know, I get. You know, the whole acid thing comes into play here. But yeah, I don't remember this one. So if you want, you know, check it out. Pee-wee's bike sold for $36,600 on eBay. In 2014, an original bike that was used in Pee-wee's Big Adventure went up for auction on eBay. The seller was hoping to get it for $15,000 for the iconic prop. He ended up selling it for, he wanted 15 grand, sorry. And then he ended up selling it for $36,600, which isn't quite a $100 million, trillion, billion dollars, but it's impressive. I would have thought I'd go more for that. I mean, that was a kick-ass bike, man. I mean, you know, the baby boy bike, you know, it's all good. Pee-wee's Big Adventure cleaned up at the box office. Pee-wee's Big Adventure was shot on a budget of approximately $7 million and earned nearly $41 million at the box office, which not surprisingly led to a sequel in 1988's Big Top Pee-wee. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the 80s, that's pretty good. If you can make a comedy, you know, for that little and make that much, that's pretty awesome. Pee-wee's Playhouse was originally going to be an animated series. I could see that. I mean, but to make it, for them to make that work like it for real life, I mean, that's pretty phenomenal. I mean, that's a crazy way to wake up. Following the financial success of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, CBS came to Reubens about creating a children's series around the character. Only they wanted it to be animated. I'd had the stage show originally, so I was much more interested in doing something closer to that, something live action, Reubens told Rolling Stone. So when they suggested doing a cartoon, I said, I'm not really interested in that. Let's do a real kid show. I was a big Howdy Doody freak growing up, which was another kid show back in the day. I was actually on one show when I was a kid. Yeah, in the audition, or sorry, in the audience, and was more interested in doing something like that. Howdy Doody, Captain Kangaroo, which is another trippy show. Yeah, it's a guy in a kangaroo. Yeah, just check it out. A lot of the local kids shows that were on a long time ago. Those were the influences. So there you go. Perfect. I mean, what were my influences growing up? I remember Today's Special on Channel 2. If you lived in Canada, they had the mannequin there. You couldn't leave the place because the hat would blow off, and they had the black woman there, who I think later on became a newscaster or something like that. The mouse that always rhymed. I don't know. She was like the first female rapper, I guess. And well, I don't know. One of many. I don't know. Queen Latifah would be proud. And Sam, the security guard. It was a weird show, man. It was, and then Polka Dot Door with the big green dinosaur. I don't know what the fuck he was, but the point is, yeah, we're all inspired by the stuff that we see as a young kid. So, yeah, for sure. Cyndi Lauper sang the Pee-wee's Playhouse theme song. No shit, I did not know that. And the clip I just played was kind of the end trail there of the song. But yeah, that was Cyndi. Wow, I did not know that. Through the series, theme song is credited to Ellen Shaw. Cyndi Lauper copped to being the voice behind it in her autobiography. Wow, I did not know that. That's crazy. Obviously, we know Cyndi Lauper. Girls just want to have fun. Of course they do. Of course they do. Who doesn't? But yeah, that's crazy. I did not know that. I did not know that. I hate Johnny Carson. He's a dickhead. Anyways, the Playhouse welcomed a number of soon-to-be stars. A number of Jesus. How do you say his word? Burgeoning? No, burgeoning. No. You know what I'm trying to say. Stars got their starts on Pee-wee's Playhouse. Among them, Phil Hartman, Patha Murkerson, and Natasha Lyonne. Both Lawrence Fishburne and Jimmy Smits also made early career appearances. Yes, we're going to get into that in a little bit. Yes, Morpheus was on Pee-wee's Playhouse. I don't believe that shit either. I mean, yeah, he was on Pee-wee's Playhouse. He almost got into a fight with Cameron. It's a whole thing, don't worry. Both Rob Zombie and John Singleton were Playhouse production assistants. Get the fuck out of here. That what a cast of people. Oh my God. Yeah, right. Pee-wee's Playhouse had plenty of talent behind the cameras too. 5 years before he wrote and directed Boys in the Hood, for which he earned 2 Oscar nominations, John Singleton was a PA on the Playhouse set. Holy shit. Now, for those of you who don't know who John Singleton is, shame on you. Rest in peace to him. He passed away a few years ago. He was supposed to direct the recent Tupac movie, All Eyes on Me. It got to a point where they told him, you got to do it like this. You got to do it like this. And he says, dude, I don't think he said dude. I don't know. Most, a lot of black guys don't use the word dude unless you're Chris Rock. But, he said, listen, I know Tupac. I know how to, notice, I just want to say this because I saw a recent article. A lot of white people do say Tupac or Tupac. Okay. I say Tupac. Okay. I'm not looking for extra points. I'm just saying, okay. That's all. But yeah, he was supposed to direct it and he just walked off. And then we got this, one of the shittiest movies ever. But yeah, that's crazy. John Singleton. So again, Boys in the Hood, Poetic Justice, Higher Learning, Baby Boy, like I just mentioned. There you go. So, you know what? Wow. What are the, maybe I'm really stretching this here, but you have Pee-wee's bike. Now, I'm not saying it looks similar to the bike that they used for Baby Boy, but I mean, it is blue, but it is a kick-ass bike. I mean, maybe John Singleton was inspired by that a little bit. Maybe, I'm just saying. Anyways, around the same time, he formed White Zombie. And 17 years before he moved into the director's chair with House of a Thousand Corpses, Rob Zombie held the same title. Truth. Back of my Dracula. I love how they're like bobbing the heads like the guys from Saturday Night Live there. But that's crazy. What a small world, eh? That's pretty kick-ass. I'm not gonna lie. Phil Hartman left Pee-wee's Playhouse after one season to join the cast of Saturday Night Live. Phil Hartman. Canadian boy, Philly, we miss you, buddy. God, what a fucking talented guy. Phil Hartman, Reubens' longtime friend and collaborator, they co-wrote Pee-wee's Big Adventure together, left the Playhouse where he played Captain Carl after the first season to join Saturday Night Live. Now listen, again, we're going to get into that in a little bit, but yeah, I mean, of course, why not? You got to join Saturday Night Live. At that time, it was pretty big. So not that it's not big now, but I mean, with the writer's strike going on, who the fuck knows when we're going to see another Saturday Night Live? Because without writers, that's Saturday Night Live needs writers. So yeah, but that was these two guys were pretty close, so that's pretty cool. I didn't know he co-wrote Pee-wee's Big Adventure too. Yeah, I think he did some of the writing with Pee-wee's show as well. I think. I'm not sure, but yeah. I mean, if I had a proper podcast, I would do my research. But what are you gonna do? Miss Yvonne's hair won an Emmy. Okay. I mean, as a kid growing up, I was looking at something else, not the Peggy Bundy hair. But anyways, 2 Emmys actually. One in 1987 and the other in 1989. The show won a total of 15 Emmys throughout its 5-season run. That's crazy. That is, yeah, I mean, I mentioned that fact before, but yeah, she won as well. So there you go. And again, I did my research. I found out that Married with Children aired, I think, like 9 months after the first Pee Wee Herman show. So, I made the joke there about Peggy Bundy hair, but I'm wondering, like, did they get the idea from that, or is that just like the style? I mean, listen, in the 80s, everything was, big. I mean, women had huge, fluffed up hair, and, they were extremely thin. I mean, they're basically built like blow pops. I mean, it was just insane, but then they wore those shoulder pads, and they looked like, football players for a while, and that was a whole thing. But, yeah, that's crazy. But I mean, who knows? Maybe they got the idea from that. I mean, yeah. See, again, I think a lot of shows actually gave nods or borrowed from Pee-wee's Playhouse. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Jambi spoke Jambi. There you go. You got to say it like that. It just sounds better. Spoke gibberish. No shit. On Shout, Factory's Blu-ray collection. Writer John Paragon describes Jambi's famous Mecca Lecca Hi, Mecca Heidi Ho. Well, you can't say one of those words in a children's show today. Mika Lika Hi, Mika China Ho. It sounds like something. Chant is as gibberish. He said, so I'm in the Groundlings, and we're doing a sketch, and it's customers in a Hawaiian restaurant, and I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt and doing Hawaiian gibberish. So that's where the line came from. It was supposed to be a bad Hawaiian. All right. Well, first of all, I just want to say as a side note, I mean, I don't know if you guys are aware of what's going on with Hawaii today, and all the fires there and devastation. So my heart and prayers go out to those people there. It's crazy. Also, I want to say I was on YouTube the other day, and I don't know, Little Caesars, which I haven't seen a Little Caesars in years, yet somehow they have commercials. I don't know. I almost feel like I don't know, like I'm having these lucid dreams or something. But yeah, because it wasn't bad pizza. But they're selling these like little Hawaiian pockets, with ham and pineapple there. It may not be the best timing. Just want to give that advice out there. But yeah, so that's where we got the idea. Lawrence Fishburne had a dark take on Cowboy Curtis. I mean, he had the. Listen, this is by far the first black cowboy I ever saw. I mean, and of course, a black cowboy, I just assume has to have a Jerry curl. It's got to look like Ice Cube in the '80s for sure. I mean, the only black other cowboy I ever saw was, I think, Terry Crews wore a cowboy hat in a movie, and I don't know. There's that other weird comedian. He's a black comedian. He wears a cowboy hat, and then like he'll tell a joke and always end it with hamburger. I look it up. Just look up comedian, I don't know, whatever on YouTube, black comedian hamburger, and it should pop up. Like he would tell a joke like, "Why did the chicken cross the road to get to the other side? Hamburger." And what the fuck? Like, yeah. So it's I don't know. I mean, the '90s were fun, but still. The point is, during his original audition for Cowboy Curtis, Lawrence Fishburne didn't get the note that the tone of the show was rather silly. Really? I mean, look at this set, man. It's a fucking... you got to be on Molly. He said, "I was in D.C. area making Gardens of Stone, and I got this call that Paul wanted to see me," Fishburne told Entertainment Weekly. "I had almost no hair on my head because I had been doing this military picture." No, that wasn't... No, Apocalypse Now was made like 1980. Yeah, it had to be... Yeah, something before that, or I don't know, maybe who knows. I auditioned as a Yul Brynner-esque kind of cowboy, very dark and serious. Reubens and Paragon both looked at me like, "Could you lighten it up?" Yeah, so there you go. Okay, listen, Lawrence Fishburne was a pretty, I mean, still is a serious actor, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, so, yeah, I mean... First of all, I'm just going to say, I was going to say this for later on with the Pee-wee Herman review there, whatever, but there's nothing, it's not really a kid's show. It's really just an entertainment show. I think it's literally, like, I assume, on the weekends, parents still need their coffee. This was our coffee. Like, this is the way kids woke up on Saturdays to a show like this. It was just insane. I mean, so... It's good. You know what? I'll get into it in a little bit. Don't worry. The third season of Pee-wee's Playhouse contains just 3 episodes. Now, I believe it's only... Well, okay, technically it's... we'll see. Because of the 1988 strike by the Writers Guild of America, because that's never going to happen again, right? The third season of Pee-wee's Playhouse is comprised of just 3 episodes, 2 regular episodes, and 1 primetime special, Pee-wee's Playhouse Christmas Special. Okay, so they count the Christmas episode as a third, the third episode. So yeah, it was only 2 episodes. Yeah, that's why, because even when I was doing my research, I was like, why is there only 2 episodes in this? I was like, whatever. So I don't know. Because at first you were kind of like, okay, is it because what happened with Paul Rubin later on, and but it lasted 5 seasons, so it wasn't because of that. But it was because of the writer's strike. That's it. So kids all over the world were very disappointed. Okay, we didn't understand what a writer's strike was. Apparently in 2023 we still don't understand what a writer's strike is, because now people have to get paid with. Streams, and good luck figuring that shit out. I don't want no part of that. Big Top Pee-wee marked the big screen debut of Benicio del Toro. Yes. I love this guy. He showed up in a few times on Howard Stern. Fucking killed it, by the way. I recommend the first one he did because Artie Lang was there, and Artie was just... Anybody knows Artie Lang, he's not gonna keep quiet about shit, but he was just saying some shit. But Benicio del Toro was cool. Like, he would egg him on and all that. So it showed Benicio del Toro was a really cool guy. But there's actually a clip here on YouTube. Fuck it, let's play it, right?
What were you in Pee-wee's Playhouse, by the way?
I was Duke. No, not the Playhouse. I was in
Big Top.
Pee-wee's Big Top. Was that one of your first acting jobs?
That was my first.
First acting job.
First.
That's a pretty big deal to be. I bet you thought
And I was Duke, the dog-faced boy, man.
You auditioned for Pee Wee Herman himself.
Yes,
Okay. Did you get to know Pee Wee when you worked on
I
the
did,
movie?
I did.
You did. When you auditioned for Pee Wee's Playhouse, this is in
Big
the
time.
early days of your career. How
Right.
old were you
Big
back
top
then?
Pee Wee.
I was 20.
20 years old, and you walk in, and there's a lot of people auditioning. How do you land a job like that? How do you make yourself special?
Well, I actually auditioned for the TV show, right? And I didn't get the job. And then when the movie was happening, I was called in.
Does that destroy you?
Hold on, sorry. I gotta stop this because, there's a motorcycle going by. Second, why don't you get a bike like Pee Wee? Yep. Anyways, did you guys hear that? Benicio del Toro originally auditioned to play Pee Wee in the TV show. So imagine, the guy from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, like actually being Pee Wee Herman. Fuck, that's awesome.
When you know inside your heart you're a good actor, and you go and audition for some television show and you don't get
No,
it,
let me tell
how do you keep
Pee
your...
Wee's show was a classic.
Yes,
It's a classic.
it is. I love Pee Wee.
Yeah,
I love the
Pee Wee's show
movies.
was a classic.
But there-
Well,
You
it's
know,
even
so I was
worse to
auditioning.
get turned down from something you really want to be a part of.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly.
How did you deal with the rejection? And you go, God damn, I can't get the job on Pee Wee's Playhouse? Come on.
No, you just go like one ear out the other.
Is that
That's the
true?
thing. Yeah.
And
Yeah, as an actor.
You
How
have
do
the
you have
confidence.
that at
It's like
19?
baseball, you know?
Yeah, how did you get that though? Most people like crumble up and die every time.
I
they
would.
get-
That's why auditions will level me.
Yeah, how did you
Yeah.
have that at 19?
I don't know, it's like you just do it. It's exciting to do an audition, you're going in and you're not used to it.
So the first real acting job you had was in a movie with Pee Wee.
Mhm.
Isn't that weird that you get
I was
chosen?
auditioning for the Wolfman.
Yeah, isn't it weird that you were chosen to be a dog-faced boy and now
Right.
you're a wolf man?
Right.
So you kind of have that wolf vibe.
But the difference is, I picked this one. The other one,
Right.
they picked me.
Yeah, that Wolfman movie, I'm not gonna lie, was Benicio del Toro. Not that good. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, man. I love a lot of his movies, but I'll do a. Did I do a podcast about him yet? I don't think so. But one day. So that's pretty crazy. It also says here, after a couple of small television roles, Benicio del Toro landed his first feature film playing Duke, the dog-faced boy, in Big Top Pee Wee, which is kind of funny because if you ever see the one, I'm really dating myself here. If you ever see the Wolfman character in the Three Stooges, it's very similar to that. Like, I don't know, the makeup doesn't look that good. Whatever, I don't know. It's just whatever. It's it's a fun movie. What are you gonna do? But the film also marked the big screen debut of Dustin Diamond, who would make his first appearance as Saved by the Bell's Screech Powers just a few months after Big Top Pee Wee's release. So there you go. Rest in peace to Dustin Diamond there. You know what? I was going to mention this later with things getting inspired by Pee Wee, but fuck, I might as well just stay on topic here with Saved by the Bell. I don't know if it's just me, but that red door does that not look like the same red door from the Max? Remember the restaurant? All these guys would hang out in Saved by the Bell. Like, I know it was kind of like the same era or whatever, and maybe that was the style at the time, but I don't know, man. I'll say again, one more time. Kind of a coincidence. Just saying. Nobody locked their doors either. I don't know. It's like living in Canada. Danny Elfman had to compose an all-new score for Big Top Pee Wee. Listen, Danny Elfman, I love your music. I will love you forever for the performance you gave in Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield and Robert Downey Jr. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have not seen that movie, you're missing out. Like Tim Burton, Pee Wee's Big Adventure marked the first feature film gig for Danny Elfman. Though the music he created for the first film is iconic, because Big Top Pee Wee was produced by a different studio, he was not allowed to use any of the elements from the original score and had to create a new one. Listen, it's Danny Elfman. He's got, I'm sure he's got more, soundtracks buried than Tupac. Okay, again, I said Tupac. Thank you. Yeah, so don't worry. Okay, either way, he's gonna get his paycheck. It's all good there. The man's a genius. Pee-wee came to Broadway in 2010. On October 26, 2010, Pee-wee was back, this time on Broadway, for a limited run stage show. Now, I was able to see this. We'll get into it more later, but yeah, it's pretty awesome. Pee-wee's Big Holiday was Pee-wee's first film in 28 years. Okay, so again, keep in mind, guys, like the longevity, like people still want to see this movie, and it was good. I liked it. It's a Netflix movie. Anyways, in 2016, Netflix released Pee-wee's Big Holiday, Pee-wee Herman's first film in 28 years. Officially, Netflix summarized the plot as follows: a chance encounter with a mysterious stranger, Joe. I don't know if this guy's Spanish or Italian. I'm not sure. Is this the guy that yeah. He was married to Sofia Vergara, right? Look at the life this guy's living. He gets to be married to Sofia Vergara. I think they're getting a divorce, but whatever. He had a good run there, and he gets to be in a Pee-wee Herman movie. That's it. I mean, what more do you want in life? Joe Manganiello. Sounds Italian to me. Points Pee-wee toward his destiny and his first ever holiday. For his part, Reubens told Mental Floss shortly after the movie was announced, it's a road picture and it's an adventure story. It's similar in tone to structure to Pee-wee's Big Adventure, in that it is a road trip. I'm trying to get somewhere. I live in a real little small town and I don't get much excitement. There you go. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, you gotta understand, like I know a lot of people, maybe, let's say, millennial generation, the last, 10, 20 years, you're gonna look at Pee-wee Herman and go, what the fuck is this guy? This guy, you know what? I'm gonna keep it real. I was tempted to not say this, but I'm gonna say it. He kind of has, I mean, if you see a guy like this today, and I couldn't blame you, he's kind of got the whole pederish vibe. I'm just saying. It is, the whole get up, the way he acts and all that shit. But keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, okay? So did Mr. Rogers, okay? And God bless that man, okay? So, different times, lead to, I don't know, different things. But the point is, I mean, Paul Rubin, a.k.a. Pee-wee Herman, is a genius. I mean, the way he created this character is awesome. And, you see it from all these facts. It's a pretty crazy story. And again, like years later, 28 years later from the original, like people still wanted to see more Pee-wee Herman. So that says something right there. I mean, it became like a cult following, Again, I mentioned the Three Stooges before. It's like the Stooges aired in, the 30s, 40s, but then they had a resurgence in the 60s where they, played, it in reruns, and then the movies came, and there you go. So, it's just, it's cool how a different generation, sees, the greatness in, what, like the Pee-wee Herman character is all about. So it's pretty awesome. But again, keep in mind, Pee-wee Herman, as a lot of people know him, is actually Paul Reubens. And Paul Reubens is a pretty good actor. Okay, I've seen him in some stuff as well. So if you don't mind, I'd like to go on IMDb.com, because Rotten Tomatoes, stop it. I don't know. They think, the movie Get Out is a good movie. It's not. Okay, shut up. It's not a good movie. I still say to this day, okay, I like the guy that created it, the guy from Mad TV, don't get me wrong, but let's just be honest. I'm pretty sure that was a failed skit, and then he made that into a serious movie, and, I'm sure if you put him to a polygraph test, like he's going to be shocked at the, how much people like this movie too. So I'm just saying, whatever. It's better than the movie he did with the cat there. Anyways, okay, so let's begin. So they did say that one of his first jobs was in the 1980s, whatever. But according to IMDb here, it says here, and he did say before he did start working as a kid, the very first thing he did was a movie called The Brotherhood, where he was a wedding guest and he was uncredited. And this came out in 1968. Starring Kirk Douglas, who we lost a few years ago. Rest in peace to him. Listen, whenever you can live to be over 100, that's a pretty good life. It says here, the son of a powerful mafia don comes home from his army service in Vietnam and wants to lead his own life. But family tradition intrigues and power plays involving his older brother dictate bleh, otherwise. And he finds himself being slowly drawn back into that world. Huh. Shit, sounds like a good movie. I only got a 6.1 rating out of 10, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, look, anything Kirk Douglas, I'll check out. But well, it's rated. See, you know, I hate when they make a mafia movie and it's rated PG-13. I mean, it was 1968, you know, whatever. But I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? It could be good. We don't know. But if you want, check it out. Then he did a TV movie, Things We Did Last Summer. And he did Working Stiffs. The Things We Did Last Summer. I mean, so he didn't work. So he worked from 1968. That was his first job, and then he didn't get another one until 1978. So maybe it was just a little kid role, whatever. Whatever. Who cares? You get to work with Kirk Douglas. It's awesome. I mean, I'm assuming he did. I don't know. He's a wedding guest. I don't know. It's a big room. Whatever. So yeah, I was saying Things We Did Last Summer, Working Stiffs, Midnight Madness. I've heard some good things about this movie. Not the best rating, but it's one of those like movies where you can understand like in the 80s, all these like crazy movies came out. You know, these raunchy comedies, whatever. So. Yeah, he was in that one. I didn't actually see this one. But yeah, you know, it could be good. You don't know. Then he did, he did a lot of stuff in the 80s here. There's Prey TV. That's right. Okay, 1980. Okay, he was in the Blues Brothers and he played the waiter. That's right. I forgot about that. That's right. Listen, Blues Brothers, I could do a whole podcast on that movie alone. Okay, Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi, these guys are gods to me. Okay, but I'm gonna try to stay focused here. Even Mr. T was in one scene for 1 second. He was in the background. It's a whole thing. Look it up. But yeah, that's right. He played the waiter in one scene there. I totally forgot about that. Then also in 1980, he was in Cheech and Chong's next movie, where he's credited again, because we mentioned this before. He's always credited as Pee Wee Herman. He plays a desk clerk, part of the Groundlings. Yeah. Listen, I love Cheech and Chong. I love all their movies. You know, some are better than others, obviously, but I mean they're all great. You know, I mean they're all just them doing their thing, and you know, I mean they made how many movies did they make together? Like 7 or 8 or something like that. Man, it's crazy. So there you go. The Flintstone Comedy Show. He did a voice in that one. He was also in Cheech and Chong's Nice Dreams. Now, I believe in this one, he's... is this the... I think this is the movie where, like, he would go, like... There's a scene, like, he would... he's just talking to the guys, like, hey, you want to do some coke? And, like, he's like... tipping his head towards the ground. They're doing coke underneath the table. Like, he comes up, he looks like fucking Tony Montana. It's a whole thing. I mean, listen, it was the 80s. You know, you're an actor, you're doing coke. It's just the way it is. Okay, nobody's judging you back then. It's just, you know, again, that was your morning coffee. You know, what are you gonna do? Yeah. So again, I love Cheech and Chong. I mean, check out all those movies if you want. But yeah, he worked with him a few times. I remember. In an interview with Tommy Chung, he always, talked very, highly of him. You know, very talented guy, all that. So that's awesome. So of course, you know, he's done a few jobs here and there, a couple movies, You know, worked with 2 of the best stoners of all time, and yeah. Then in 1981, he does the Pee Wee Herman Show. So. Like I said before, this aired on HBO. It was a TV movie that he did. And, it's... I mean, the rest is history after this, guys. I mean, he's got something like 22 credits. Holy shit. Okay, I think we've only peaked on, 10, 15? So, okay, we got a ways to go. But I'll try to keep this short and sweet. Don't worry. But yeah, I mean, this got the ball rolling from it, as I mentioned before. I mean, this, he wanted to make this character. He started with the Groundlings, and then he made it into the, the show for HBO here, and there you go, guys. I mean, rest is history. So, but I'm going to talk more about the show that aired later on. So just bear with me. Then he did Dream On. He did He was in one episode of Mork and Mindy. I get to work with the great Robin Williams. Rest in peace to him. Can you imagine those two guys in heaven right now? They're just having the time of their lives, just putting on shows and shit. I know I sound like a big kid, but whatever. But I mean, think about it. That's great. I mean, Paul Reubens worked with. I mean, and this is like, I mean, the guys, had the chance to work with a lot of great people. This is awesome. He did Twilight Theater, where he played himself, or Pee Wee Herman, the Pee Wee Herman Show segment there. And he was in a movie called Pandemonium, which I guess speaks for itself. Madam's Place. Now there used to be this thing called Waylon and Madam. I mean, it was this guy with a puppet, whatever. So, again, this is way before Jeff Dunham. And apparently other people worked with puppets too. And he was part of that. The Paragon of Comedy. He played a character named Arnie. Like Stories Volume 2, TV movie. Lots of TV movies. I mean, this is crazy. Cheeseball Presents, which I'm assuming is some kind of, well, no, it's a TV movie. He was in Meatballs, not the good one, unfortunately. He was in Meatballs Part 2. Listen, I love the first Meatballs, Bill Murray, classic. I've never seen the ones after that. I'm even told with Caddyshack they made 2 more movies after the first one. I'm good. Fairy Tale Theater, he was in that. And then, of course, 1985 comes, and he does Pee-wee's Big Adventure, where he plays Pee Wee Herman as Pee Wee Herman. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a huge hit. Like I said before, I mean, you got Tim Burton, one of his, maybe it was his first movie, or one of his first movies, whatever, or first major things, whatever, and teaming with Pee Wee Herman. So imagine the creativity mind of both these guys teaming up and making this movie. I mean, this is just, it's crazy. And it was a huge hit. I mean, rated 7 out of 10, not bad for a comedy, I mean, the tagline is, the story of a rebel and his bike. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know how I feel about people with bikes. I hate you, okay? I recently went to Taste of Danforth, after 4 years of it being closed, and it was supposed to open last year, and, they didn't do it because of, certain things, and mostly bike lanes and bike lanes. Bike lanes. Bike lanes. Fucking shit. The point is, okay, we had the chance to enjoy it this year. It's still going on, actually. It's Sunday. You still got how many hours you got left? It's 4:46 p.m. on a Sunday. Yeah, you still got a decent amount of time. I think it closes at like midnight, 1. I don't know. Assuming that anybody's going to listen to this. The point is, which they won't, I know. I'm realistic. The point is, this is just a kick-ass movie, and I don't know what to say. I mean, it says here, when eccentric man-child Pee Wee Herman gets his beloved bike stolen in broad daylight, he sets out across the U.S. on the adventure of his life. They just showed the trailer in the IMDb here. Yeah, there's that one part where like on the Pee Wee Herman show, he used to like use tape and like tape his shit, like tape his face. It was funny. It's one of those things you gotta see. But the point is, him, Tim Burton, it's just forget it. I mean, this is a really funny, memorable movie, and it was great. I mean, this is basically my childhood here, right here. I think it's the one where he's like dancing on the bar, and like to this day, I still can't. Every time I say tequila, you gotta say tequila. You just have to. You gotta put your hands forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. He's got the shoes. He's got his silver suit. He's got the bow tie. He's ready to go. That's it. So, I mean, there's so many things I could say about this movie, but it's one of those things I truly believe. Not because I'm lazy. I mean, maybe that's part of it. But you should actually see for yourself. You know, keep in mind this is the 80s. You know, pretty much anything goes at this point. You know, so if you're a Tim Burton fan and if you're a Pee Wee Herman fan, it's a no-brainer. You have to see this movie. I mean, this is basically what started it all. You know, and you know it got the ball rolling with. Tim Burton here as well, and you know, everybody, you know, people that know me know that Edward Scissorhands is one of my favorite movies of all time. I mean, I remember watching that movie, and my parents taking me to see that movie. I had the choice between either that or Home Alone, and later on, I saw Home Alone on VHS. You know, to millennials, I'll explain what a VHS is later. But yeah, it is. It's a great movie. It really is, and you know, and Pee Wee's Big Adventure. You know, like I said, it's my childhood. It really is, and for a lot of other people, it is too. So it's really spectacular. I mean, Paul Reubens, you know, created such a great character with this, and you know, he's able to bring it to the big screen, and it was a huge hit. You know, it made almost like what 3 times its money or 4 times its money back, whatever, and you know, it. Of course, they're going to make a sequel, and you know, there you go. So, highly recommend anybody. To check this out. It's just a good, fun, silly movie. You know, you'll be entertained. Trust me. And it says here, All-Star Rock and Roll Wrestling Saturday Spectacular. Of course, you got to put Pee Wee Herman in that. I just saw a recent clip of Pee Wee Herman. It was done a few years ago that he did with The Rock, whatever. So again, this has happened just a few years ago. So again, it shows the impact of Pee Wee Herman. He's still, you know, there and trying to relate to, you know, recent times and, you know, with recent characters like The Rock, Dwayne Johnson there. And yeah, again, it just gives you an idea like how much this, you know, how much beloved this character really is. Bryan Adams, Reggae Christmas. Wow. Okay. Okay, I'm going to repeat this again just because I think I'm, yeah, I think I took something. Hold on. Bryan Adams, Reggae Christmas. Listen, on behalf of, you know, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, or just, you know, the whole Canada in general, you know, to the rest of the world, I'm sorry. Okay, listen, Bryan Adams is awesome. Okay, I love this man. You know, I mean, he cuts like a knife, but it feels all right. But this is wow. This is oh god. You thought it was awkward seeing white people do rap today. Not Eminem. Eminem is awesome. I'm not talking about all these other you know, other Malakas, but you know who you are. But yeah, reggae. Wow. Okay, and Paul Reubens was a part of this. Okay. Oh, look, I'm not going to lie. I mean, these are some of the 2 whitest people of all time that should not be doing any part of reggae. But, I mean, all right, it was 1985. I mean, what are you going to do? Yeah, we're going to move on. Flight of the Navigator. He was a voice in that. Star Wars Tours, voice in that. He was in an episode of 227 where he played himself. There you go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. You know, white women, black women, it didn't matter to Pee Wee. Back to the Beach, Pee Wee Herman, Sesame Street. He played, was put down the ducky. God, there's such a good joke there. Okay, again, he played Pee Wee Herman. So again, like I said before, they had to make a sequel, of course, you know, because of success. 3 years later, they made Big Top Pee Wee. Now, it was a different studio, you know, like I said before, they had to do a different theme, or they couldn't use the same shit. They had, you know, they had to make another one. Tim Burton did not direct this one. At the time, I think he was busy doing Batman anyway. I mean, either movie, I'll be honest with you guys, I haven't seen in a while. But I still remember Big Top Pee Wee being good. Now, a lot of people didn't like this movie. It got panned a lot. I don't think it made nearly as much money. I think it pretty much bombed, I think. Let's see here. It says it doesn't even... Oh, no, here it is. Okay, so it grossed $15 million in U.S. and Canada. Opening weekend, only $4.6 million. And total gross worldwide was the same, 15.1. Yeah, so yeah, didn't live up to expectations like the first one. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I mean, you know, what are you gonna do? Hey, you know, I still love it. I remember it being a funny movie. I think the first one was better. Don't get me wrong, but yeah. Also, I want to say Benicio del Toro for a few years went out with one of the actresses that. First of all, keep in mind in this movie, Pee Wee Herman is balancing literally 2 women. I mean, this is awesome. Benicio del Toro went out with Valeria Golino. Which really proves that, I mean, Benicio del Toro, it doesn't matter like how the fuck he looks, he can get any woman he wants. I even heard a story of him with, alleged story with him and Lindsay Lohan having sex in an elevator. I don't know if that's true, but who knows. Christopherson is in this movie. He kicks ass, as always. Penelope Ann Miller, Wayne White, Susan Terrell, Jack Murdoch, you know. I thought Frances Bay, who I think we all love as the lovable grandma in Happy Gilmore. She is awesome. But yeah, I still like this movie. I mean, apparently him and the pig didn't get along in the movie. It was he held the pig at one point and it squealed. You know, imagine that. But I don't know, other than that, like I said, I haven't seen these movies in a very long time. But again, Pee Wee was balancing 2 women in this movie. Gee, I mean, like that alone is worth seeing this movie for. I mean, you know, like come on. I don't know. I remember this movie being okay. I don't know. I mean, but I don't know. What are you gonna do? So, me personally, I don't know if you're a fan of Pee Wee Herman. I recommend both movies. So, I don't know what to tell you. So, do what you gotta do. Moonwalker. Holy shit! Talk about another movie that, if you're on shrooms, don't watch Moonwalker. But anyways, as you know, the Michael Jackson movie here, Joe Pesci plays a bad guy. Listen, it's a whole thing with this movie. Again, I could do another podcast just on this movie alone. But Pee Wee Herman is in it. He just has a voice credit in it. So you know, I mean, Michael Jackson in the '80s, forget it. Enough said. Got to work with him. Again, Sesame Street. Worked on there. Christmas at Pee Wee's Playhouse. Okay, so again, like I said before, season 3, you know, because the writer's strike, they only had 2 episodes, technically 3 episodes, including this one. So again, I don't really remember this. I'm assuming it's got something to do with Christmas and Pee Wee Herman. So Pee Wee Herman throws a Christmas party at his own playhouse with his friends and some celebrity guests. Of course. I'm watching the trailer here. Who is in this crate? And of course, it is, I forgot her name. I think she was in Boomerang, the model. How come it's not listing it here? You're making me look bad, guys. Okay, all cast and crew. Okay. Bear with me here, guys. This isn't, you know. Grace Jones. There you go. Thank you. Yes, okay. Taking a black model out of a crate. I don't think that would fly today, but the point is, yeah, it looks like a pretty entertaining thing there. You got Charo, you got Lawrence Fishburne coming back, Kevin Carlson, William Marshall, who basically, I mean, yeah, I forgot he's the guy that did Blackula there, so he kind of looks like Benicio del Toro's Wolfman. Anyway, Empatha Murkison, John Paragon. Yeah. See, you know, you got all the usual suspects here, you know, showing up. Looks like a good time. 7.7 out of 10. No complaints there. You got Santa Claus, you know. Yeah, what's there not to love? So there you go. So, again, if you're a fan of Pee-wee, you got to check this one out. It's in the playlist. And of course, okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're up to 1998, but of course I have to mention the actual show itself that ran for 45 episodes from 1986 to 1990. What a way to close the 80s. Is a little show called Pee-wee's Playhouse. Okay? I mean, this show, Again, ladies and gentlemen, it was my childhood. I mean, I remember going to my grandma's house, my nonna's house, watching it there. Even next door, literally the girl next door. One of my friends, me and her would watch the show together. We were just blown away by this show. I mean, as we were busy playing, with our action figures and Light Bright. We would watch Pee-wee's Playhouse, and this show, I'm telling you, I remember the show being a trip. But I mean, I just watched. I've watched 3 episodes so far of the first season, and it is just it is just insane. It really is. I mean, like I said, that long intro. I mean, if that doesn't prepare you for the show, I don't know what does. It's pretty crazy. I mean, I didn't know where to begin. You know what? Let's start from the beginning. Let's actually break it down here. So it says, Pee Wee Herman and his friends have wacky, imaginative fun in his unique playhouse, which that's putting it extremely mild. So obviously you got Pee Wee Herman, in there, Paul Reubens. You got John Paragon playing John B. Phil Hartman, who I always love, playing Captain Carl. Lawrence Fishburne, Cowboy Curtis. You got Rick Hertzman playing Mr. Window. You got George McGrath playing Globey, who is the Globe, of course. Alison Mork playing Sherry. It's a chair, but her name is Sherry. Cherry. There you go. Yeah, you get it. Wayne White playing Randy. Kevin Carlson playing Conky. Lynn Marie Stewart, Miss Vaughn. William Marsh, King of the Cartoons, Empatha. Sorry, I hope I said that right. Merkinson, play Reba. Well, I believe, isn't she on one of the Law and Order shows or something like that? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Susan Kent playing Miss Renee. Joanne Carlo playing Dixie. Gilbert Lewis, King of the Cartoons. Gregory Harrison, Conky. Yes, Conky. Okay, the name that they use. I mentioned, this is fate. I mentioned Trailer Park Boys before. Maybe they got the idea from that. I don't know, maybe because he looked like he had big eyes, had wear glasses. I always thought the idea came from with the whole bubbles and Slapshot, whatever, but who the fuck knows? Vic Trevion played Ricardo. Roland Rodriguez played Tito. I mean, it's an insane cast, guys. Insane cast. And, you just looking at even the pictures here on IMDb alone, it is just if this show doesn't wake you up, if you're in a bad mood, watch this show. It'll brighten your day, man. I don't know how else to say it, but like I said, let's do a little quick review of the very first episode. So, of course, you got the robot here. He's got the big boombox there, the eyes and all that. And again, keep in mind, this is the 80s. Every TV show, every movie, okay, even, what was it, Rocky IV? Happy Birthday, Polly, had robots. I mean, it didn't matter. It was the 80s. You had to have a robot in it. That was the rule. Then you got the chair who, when Pee Wee Herman would jump into it, would kind of, hug him and whatever. So, I mean, would this chair make it past the #MeToo movement? Probably not, but, it's still cool. The dog chair as well, also cool. He never, I don't know if he ever actually sat in that chair. I guess, I don't know, maybe this chair was closer to the door. I don't know, whatever. But again, I talked about the door before, looking like the Max from the door from the restaurant in Saved by the Bell. Again, maybe it's just a coincidence, whatever. But literally everything in this atmosphere was alive. I mean, the windows, they say the hills have eyes. I didn't see any hills. I just saw nothing but blue sky. I don't know. I always thought this house was floating in the air, up, but yeah, I mean, apparently people did walk in and out there. I don't know, for the most part. And then the eyes on the window, always watching you, and then of course you had the secret door, or not secret door, the secret. Maybe there was a secret door. I don't know. Who knows? It's a big house, but yeah, you got the secret word of the day. If people say the secret word of the day, people flip out and shit, and as a whole thing, just I guess maybe this was a way of like again, it's supposed to be a kid's show, but it wasn't like Sesame Street where they would have like things like, okay, we're going to teach you how to count, we're going to teach you about this word or what this situation is. I mean, sometimes they did that, but it was more just like a silly show. It was almost like a, I don't know, like I almost had, and it just kind of came to me right now. Maybe this is Pee-wee Herman's way, of doing a kid show for kids, where like if a kid is like frustrated, he can just kind of let go for the next half hour. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe it's not meant to be like super educational or nothing like that. It's just a way of like kids, letting their shit out in a nice way. I don't know. Maybe that's, I get too philosophical at my age. I don't know. But yeah, who knows? But yeah, and keep in mind, although I just noticed this, keep in mind he has a fireplace here, and he actually does have one stocking up there all the time. And it's got it's got a P on it. That's cute. But anyways, the three kids come in. The one kid is Goldberg from the Mighty Ducks. You got the one woman here from Orange is the New Black and American Pie. Chinese woman, I don't know, maybe she looks familiar. I don't know. But yeah, so that's cool. I mean, that'd be a cool gig to have as a kid. So there you go there. And of course, like I said, they would say, crazy word. And, or, actually, it wasn't even a crazy word. Like the first word they used was door. So if anybody uses the word door, everyone's going to freak out.
Hey, Magic Screen! What's that red thing over there?
What a silly question, Pee-wee. It's the door.
Hey, Pee-wee!
Yes, Mr. Window?
Someone's at the red painted entrance.
Oh, you mean the door?
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know most of you just heard the audio of this. I mean, if you watch the visual, it is, there's a lot to process here. First of all, I don't think anyone has ever said that humankind, or human mankind has ever said, "Hey, Mr. Window," unless they're really tripping. But yeah, so, but like, I get, maybe, again, I really think that this was kind of Pee-wee Herman's way of like just saying to kids, hey, this is your little way of like freaking out in a safe way. You know what I mean? Like this is like kind of like a safe place. I don't know, maybe it's just me, whatever, but let's process all the shit we've seen. So we already see a walking robot with a boombox. Then we see a walking, talking screen, which is very similar. I mean, it's bigger than an iPad, obviously. But again, you're going to see him later on pop into there, connect the dots, la, 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 doing his thing. So that was kind of futuristic too. I haven't seen a talking window yet. I've seen windows like with built-in blinds, whatever, on TikTok. But other than that, that's it. But yeah, in many ways, you kind of paved the way for some things here. As a reward, Pee-wee was given tinfoil, and then he added to the tinfoil ball, which as many... keep in mind, this is way before the internet. So we either made tinfoil big balls, or we made those big elastic balls. Yeah, we, as you can see, the times have changed, but... yeah, thank God for the internet. But anyways, and then at one point they kind of got like kind of like a Fraggle Rock thing here, where there's shit underground, but instead of the funny puppets here, they got the dinosaurs. So I don't know, maybe one borrowed from one. I don't know, who knows? But it's still pretty trippy. And like I just want to say this, like if you have the chance, like I said, watch the first episode. It's crazy, but like visually, it looks fantastic. You can tell it's. This is an early like sign of, Tim Burton's, visual vision of things to come. I was blown away when I saw Edward Scissorhands, but when you see this, you're like, holy shit, this was made in like 86. And Tim Burton's a fucking genius. And at the same time, Paul Reubens, helped write and, picture all this, like, okay, this has got to be this. And that, these two guys together were, peanut butter and jelly. It was perfect. So, and of course, how can you make this moment even better? Well, we're going to have Lawrence Fishburne show up as a cowboy, of course. So, before he was saving white boys in The Matrix, he was, friends with this white boy. and he has like this what is it, like the digital rope here, and he's going nuts, and then there's talking fish, and then all of a sudden you see I can't believe what I'm seeing. Paul Reubens going to like a photo booth, and he's like talking, with a can. And again, by the way, we tried this as kids. It was bullshit. It didn't. It never worked. I don't care what treehouse club you were part of. It never worked. It just got your ear really dirty, full of corn. And but then he's seeing visual screen. So he's literally doing like a futuristic video call, right? And who pops up on screen? Mr. Phil Hartman. And the background there, okay, it's a little cheesy, whatever, but it still works, you know what I mean? And just to see Phil Hartman do his thing as well, just before Saturday Night Live. But again, the whole video call concept, it's kind of weird how things work out today. So yeah, that's pretty weird. So like I said before, he jumps in the screen. He's going to place, connecting dots, la da da da, whatever. And Ms. Vaughn shows up, the Piggy Bunny haircut. She's walking around, doing her own thing. I guess this is more for the, the fathers at the time. And then they show these little puppets as well. It almost looks like a cool jazz version of like the Muppets, the Muppets look like, the 70s hippies there. So this is more like kind of a scat kind of jazz kind of thing. Don't ask me what scat is. I can't believe I even remembered that word. Who knows? Maybe in today's millennial world, it's considered offensive. I don't know. I don't care. Then he showed like a little thing where he's dancing with these old school dancers, kind of like very similar to like the kind of like the 60s shit, with like Mike Myers did with like Austin Powers. Pee-wee's just doing this thing, random dance moment. Does it have anything to do with the show? Absolutely not. Okay, then the King of Cartoons shows up, shows this old cartoon involving carrots, which is something we should all be eating more of, but we don't care. And then he takes some pencils and it makes a potato monster, and then there's another clay animation with a woman named Penny. Why is she named Penny? Because her eyes are made of copper, actual pennies, and for some reason she looks like Penny from Inspector Gadget, and she's falling on rollerblades. Then he opens up the fridge, and there's all this weird animation, and you see ice cubes with skates on them, and Chinese food coming to life, and popsicles getting split in half, and he's trying to make ice cream, and it turns into soup, and he has this chocolate dispenser, and this asshole bully puppet shows up. Red hair, of course, red hair, because all these fuckers with red hair always cause problems. And it sort of looks like the one bad kid from Toy Story. And again, maybe that was inspired. I don't know. And then they're like, okay, add more ice cream. Then they'll make ice cream soup, and that's the name of the episode, Ice Cream Soup. And there's a green dinosaur there, the one that is a bird, and apparently dinosaurs are still birds. And and then some guy shows up, in a box, where he's a white guy with makeup, wearing the little the Indian hat there. Good luck getting away with that today. And if that's your thing, he's kind of the right height for. Listen, the point is, this is into mega like a high, mega. They're all singing here, they're all laughing, enjoying ice cream soup, and Pee Wee Herman's like, you know what? I've had enough of this shit. I'm gonna push back my iron. I have pictures of George Washington and what appears to be John Hamm from Mad Men in there, and he's got a clown on his bike. Nothing creepy about that. And he just shoots off out of the house, and he's just going down the road, and that's the end of the episode. Oh, fuck! Holy shit! Excuse me, I need some water. Hold on. Wow. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, is Pee-wee's Playhouse. That is an actual show. And that's just the pilot, okay? The second episode is about He wins 2 tickets to Hawaii, which again I know is really bad timing. But and then the third one, it's about the like he can't go out in the rain, and which is kind of pointless anyway because he never leaves the house anyway. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, and again, you know, even with the bike, it is a very feature. It's the motorized bike. Back then, you had to push, you know, with your feet, the scooters and all that. Again, more futuristic stuff. I mean, this show is a fucking trip. I know it sounds like I'm making a joke about the show, whatever, but this show is awesome. It's got a rating of 8.1 out of 10. I think it should be higher. I don't know if I can give it a 9, maybe 8.5, but I mean, this show is just fucking awesome. And to see this as a kid, and like, again, in 1986, it is a trip. It's a fucking trip. Okay? It's awesome. Okay? He paved the way for a lot, you know, shows being more bright and entertainment, especially kid shows. You know, so, you know, Mr. Paul Rubin, you know, I give you your credit. You created something really special here, a really special character, and it is just awesome. Fucking awesome. Now, around this time, I mean, 1991, you know, yeah, all the shit happened there, you know, with him, and, you know, people were like, okay, what's going to do now? But you know what? In 1992, he's working again. And he played the Penguin's father in Batman Returns. Now, I completely forgot he played the father in this. He's in it for the beginning, and I think, again, a little bit more later on in the movie. So it just makes a few appearances. But, again, hey, surprise, surprise, who hires him? Tim Burton. Why not? Let's team these guys up together again. A lot of people don't like Batman Returns. I like it. I mean, is it more violent and different than the first one? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the whole thing about McDonald's wanted to put out toys, but then they found out how violent it was, and they took back the toys. Joke's on you, I still got 2 of them. But the point is, it's still a great movie. And technically, and the angry video game nerd made this point recently, I think it is technically a Christmas movie. I mean, it's got a lot of Christmas themes around it, like even the way it ends, whatever. But this is a really good movie. It's just different from the first one. It's more dark, you know, but Paul Reubens did a great job in this. It shows off that, yeah, he doesn't always have to play Pee Wee Herman all the time. And, yeah, I thought he did a great job. Great job, great movie. Tim Burton, you're still the man. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Okay, so I will take her over the one in the TV show any day. Okay, I totally forgot he was in this. He plays a character named Amilyn. Amilyn? Is that Amilyn? Is that how you say it? Okay. But yeah, it's a good little movie. I like it. You know, nothing too crazy, whatever. But you know, what are you gonna do? But yeah, she's a knockout. What the hell's her name again? I forgot. I forgot what's her name. Chrissy Swanson. That's her name. Yeah. She was the one in, I don't know if you're more along the years here. She was the blonde in Dude, Where's My Car? Yeah. That's her. Luke Perry, rest in peace to him. Cool motherfucker. Yeah, a lot of people were in that. Wow, Donald Sutherland was in this movie. Hilary Swank, David Arquette, Stephen Root. Thomas Jane was in this? Shit, fuck. Oh, okay. All right, I gotta go back and watch this one. But, yeah, good little movie. Good, you know, PG-13. You know, I mean, it makes you wonder movies like this, if they put them rated R, it would have been better. But, you know, whatever. What are you gonna do? It's the 90s. Yeah, it's a good little movie. Check it out. The Nightmare Before Christmas. Okay, this is a classic. And there's always the debate. Is this movie a Halloween movie? Or is it a Christmas movie? Why can't it be both? But think about it, The Nightmare Before Christmas. Huh? So it's before Christmas. So it's got to be a Halloween movie, right? Listen, who cares? The point is, it's a kick-ass movie, kick-ass animation. And again, Tim Burton doing his thing, you know. Of course, you know, get your buddy in there, Paul Rubin. He played the voice of Locke. So yeah, I try to watch this one every Halloween if I can, but You know, I always have to watch Young Frankenstein every Halloween for sure. But then again, you can watch it at Christmas too, so it's kind of in the middle. There you go. So, excellent movie, Christmas or Halloween classic, no matter how you want to slice it. It's an awesome movie. Check it out. And he did a movie called Dunstan Checks In. I don't know what that is. Matilda. I remember that movie. Yeah, that girl was in. Yeah, she was in a bunch of movies for a while. She was the girl in Miss Doubtfire there, the young daughter there. He played an FBI agent. Then he was in an episode of Murphy Brown for 6 episodes. Murphy Brown was a good show. Candice Bergen. I always liked her. I always consider her a strong, funny woman. And he was in a movie called Buddy. Then he was in Beauty and the Beast, but the Enchanted Christmas. Yeah, he played Fifi. Fuck, how do you pronounce that? I never saw this one. I always saw the original. He was in the movie Dr. Dolittle with Eddie Murphy. He played the voice of the raccoon. I did not know that. I remember Norm Macdonald, rest in peace. He was one of the voices, but wasn't Chris Rock like a gerbil or something in that one too? Yeah. Hercules. He was Mr. Herodotus. Okay. Not the best Greek name, but okay. Played a voice in that. That's right. So 1999, apparently it was one of the best years in movie history. Unfortunately, that contained Mystery Men. So he played the spleen character. The problem with this movie is, like, it like, the concept was good. Basically, this movie's about, like, I don't know, what the fuck's it about again? The superheroes, and I don't know, they underestimate them or whatever, but, yeah, basically, I don't know, like, plot-wise, it wasn't that good. I mean, good concept, just not the best way delivered. But, yeah, his character was spleen. Didn't he, fart or something? And then, he made, yeah, something, I don't know. But I was literally about to say the biggest thing about this movie was the Smash Mouth song All Star, which they made the video for the movie. Also came out in 1999. So yeah, listen, if you want to check out this movie for a cheap laugh, whatever, that's up to you. But I don't know, what are you gonna do? Then he was in a movie called South of Heaven, West of Hell. So this is interesting. He was in an episode of Everybody Loves Raymond, and he plays a character named Russell. Now, Russell was the brother of the one girl that, Amy, the one that Robert went out with. I think the episode was like Raymond wanted to get his daughter the Pokemon card, and then he had to deal with the brother, and he owns like a comic book store. And listen, I'll be completely honest with you. Okay, there's a comic book area, or one of those stupid magic stores, whatever, in my area, and if you go into one of these stores, you're gonna deal with some major geeks. I mean, it is like, and I know I'm not the coolest person in the world either. I get that, but yeah, I'm not you. You know what I mean? It's just not. Yeah, it's. Man, so basically, like his character is like very nerdy, like, what do you want? Yeah. Like, he plays it so good. It's almost like he did study at one of these comic book stores, or maybe grew up with people like that. I wouldn't be surprised if he did, because Paul Rubin, is a really good actor. And yeah, but then years later, they only had him for the one role. They brought back the brother character years later, and it was played by Chris Elliott in, as it says here, 10 episodes. So yeah, I don't know why they didn't keep him on there. Maybe it was just meant to be like a one-time thing. They didn't know they were going to bring back the character or whatever. But I love the show Everybody Loves Raymond. I think it's a really good show, very solid show. I would recommend more. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'll get shit for this, but I would recommend more shows after season, like, let's say 4 or 5. I think that's when the show got more about the family instead of just Raymond being a sports writer. Not that those weren't good, but I still feel that like the shows later on were better. I don't know. It was almost like each show was like a little play, you know. But yeah, like, he did a great job as the brother. So I don't know. It makes you wonder why they didn't bring him back. But yeah, but he was really good. Now I'm sure you can check it out on YouTube. It was a funny character, very funny show. So check it out. Okay. So 2001 hits. Okay. Then we got a little movie that is called Blow, starring the great Johnny Depp. And this is one of my favorites by Johnny Depp. And this is definitely one of my favorite roles I've ever seen Paul Rubin in. This might be the second role other than Pee Wee Herman I love him in. If you've never seen him, or if you've never seen this movie Blow, you got to see it. Okay, Blow is obviously a slang term from cocaine and all that, and that's what it's about. And he starts out selling weed, then he starts selling coke, and and then Paul Rubin is one of these, or his character, his name's Derek for real, and I almost can't believe this character is actually for real, but he gets introduced from the girlfriend that Johnny Depp is going out with in the movie, and it's just fucking awesome.
Now, what can I do for you guys?
We'd like to buy some pot.
I know what you want. But first, are you cops?
No?
If you are, you have to tell me. If not, it's entrapment.
We're not cops. We're from Massachusetts. Does he look like a cop?
Actually, no. You know, it's a good thing you're friends of Barbie's. Because if you weren't, I would never talk to you.
What the fuck is that?
It's your pot.
Wow. That's more than we had in mind.
I don't nickel and dime. You want it or not?
We'll take it.
This movie is fucking fantastic. I mean, the performances in this movie by everybody is great, but this is another one where, I mean, for a while, I really didn't see Paul Reubens in anything. Like, you see him in here and there, and he did a lot of voiceover work, and then all of a sudden he shows up in this movie, alongside Johnny Depp, and you're like, holy shit, like, this guy, like, I'm not saying it was like a best supporting actor nod or nothing, but but it was a really great role for him. I mean, really, like, he just absolutely killed it. And, obviously it's based on a true story, about, the guy here, George Hung, or George Young, G-U-N-G, Young, or Guy, I think it's pronounced Young. And there's a couple of documentaries since he's come out. He's done a couple of interviews. Like, he's out of jail now. He went to jail for, quite a bit there. You'll see when you watch the movie, but, I'm not really giving anything away. But, this is a really good movie. I mean, really good movie. I mean, at one point, I think they said in the movie, if you bought cocaine between, the late 70s, early 80s, there was like 80-85% chance it came from us or something. Like, it's just an insane story. And, Paul Rubin's character here does such a great job. Like, he's in it, in and out, whatever. I mean, he's not like, he's sort of a main guy, but just there, whatever. But, I mean, he's really good in it. Really, I can't picture anybody else playing that role, honestly. I mean, and of course, later on in the movie, there's the famous scene where Bobcat Goldthwait is, he did a line, and he's like, I can't feel my face. So, like, him, Johnny Depp, Paul Rubin, they're all there in one scene, like, and, shout out to The Weeknd there for making the song there. Guess what it's based on. But yeah, so really good movie. Really, really good movie. And, I think a lot of people were like, oh shit, like, Paul Rubin can... this guy can act. I mean, this isn't like a joke or nothing. He didn't make a cameo as Pee Wee or nothing. Pee Wee doing coke, So, yeah. All right, but it's gonna take me a year, And then they sold he sold like how much coke did they sell? What, 30 pounds, 40 pounds in like 2 days or something? Like, it's just crazy. I mean, the 80s, or late 70s, early 80s. Holy fuck. Oh, what a time. What a time. But anyways, again, I know this goes without saying, but if you have not seen the movie Blow, I mean, if you're a Johnny Depp fan, Paul Reubens fan, you got to see it. It's awesome. So there you go. Then like I said, 122 credits, guys. I mean, he's done a lot of shit. I mean, he was in an episode of Ally McBeal. He was in Elton John, This Train Don't Stop There Anymore. Yeah, I remember that one. Justin Timberlake dressed up as... That's right. He was the guy. Yeah. That's right. I remember that. The Groovians is an episode of... or a couple episodes of The Rugrats. This is all mostly voiceover work. Teacher's Pet, The Night Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge, Hopeless Pictures, Trippin' the Rift, Dirt Squirrel, Campus Ladies as a TV series he did. I never heard of that one. The Raconteurs, I said, Steady As She Goes. He was the pit boss in a music video. He was in an episode of Reno 911. Tom Goes to the Mayor. Then he was in a movie called The Tripper. Reanimated. He was in an episode of 30 Rock, which is really... I saw this clip just recently. I totally forgot he was in. He's some... I can't even describe what his character is. I mean, it almost looks like a puppet. I mean, the way they made him up. Like, he looks like a... He kind of looks like what Nicolas Cage did in that recent Dracula movie there. It's just like even like a shorter version of that. It's trippy. You can see it on YouTube. Then there's an episode of Dirt, Reno 911 Miami, Tim and Eric, awesome show, great job. Pushing Daisies, and a few episodes of that, which I always heard was a good show. I think he got the... I don't think he got the much respect that it should have, but Area 57, Chowder, Life During Wartime, Pee Wee gets an iPad. I haven't seen this clip, but it looks, judging by the picture, it looks pretty funny. Pee Wee Goes to Sturgis. It's a video he did. Yeah, I didn't see that one. Looks funny too. I can always respect the man that wears a leather vest with buttons on it. That's always cool. Batman: The Brave and the Bold, the video game. Adventure Time, WWE Raw, the Pee Wee Herman Show on Broadway. I mentioned that before. This was pretty interesting just watching this. I mean, basically he's just doing the show live on Broadway. And he got like new actors for everybody else there. But yeah, watching it, it was still pretty good, I gotta say. I want to say Phil Lamar, who I grew up loving on Matt TV, and he does a lot of voiceover work too. Like, he does a lot of stuff for like Family Guy and all that. He plays Cowboy Curtis. I thought he did a great job. They got John Paragon to come back as Zombie, which is pretty cool. And they got some other people too. I think they got back. They got Lynn Marie Stewart. So I think it's definitely worth checking out, guys. I mean, again, if you're a fan of the Pee Wee Herman Show and see how he's like living in the future, maybe like, I don't know, like 20, 25 years later, go ahead, check it out. Like I said, he does a lot of voice work. But also the TV special here, WrestleMania XXVII, which is, I should know. I mean, they only made so many Rocky movies, so I can only count so high. He was in the Smurfs, Batman, The Bold and the Beautiful, Robot Chicken, which I always love. Seth Green does a great job with that. Tron Uprising, The Final Moments of Carl Brandt. It's a short he did. I didn't see that one, but the Smurfs 2, the Smurfs 2 again, they list. Oh, one's an Xbox game. Listen, you do voiceover work, guys, you get a good reputation of that. It's a nice little income. Let's just say that. Tom and Jerry's Giant Adventure, Scooby-Doo, Mecha Mutt Menace, Comedy Bang Bang, Kung Fu Panda, Legends of Awesomeness, Robot Chicken, DC Comics Special 2, Villains in Paradise, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He's, the new series, whatever. I like more of the older shit, but, teach his own. TV on the radio, Happy Idiots, Sanjay and Craig, Lego DC Comics, Batman B. Leaguered, Star Wars Rebels, Phineas and Ferb. Is that how you say it? Yeah. There's a movie, Accidental Love. Portlandia, very funny show. I haven't watched all of it, but I've seen clips here and there. Very funny show. Randy Cunningham, 9th Grade Ninja. Turbo Fast, Minecraft, Story Mode, a Telltale game series. Robot Chicken DC Comics Special 3, Magical Friendship, The Blacklist. So, as you can see, lots of voiceover stuff. Holy shit. No signs of slowing down. But then, finally, years later, we finally get another Pee Wee Herman movie. It's on Netflix. It's 2016. Of course it's on Netflix. Called Pee Wee's Big Holiday, where he plays Pee Wee Herman. Okay? Not the best rating, 6.1 out of 10, but honestly, I don't give a fuck. If you're a fan of Pee Wee Herman, you'll love this movie too. A fateful meeting with a mysterious stranger inspires Pee Wee Herman to take his first holiday ever in this epic story of friendship and destiny. Boom, that's it. Listen, it's just good to see Pee Wee Herman back do his thing. It was directed by John Lee. The writers were Paul Reubens, of course, and Paul Russ. Yeah, very good movie, guys. I like I said, I like anything Pee Wee, and actually, it's funny. Actually, you know what? Okay, so here's the funny thing. Get this: Monica Horan, who played Amy on Irilla's Raymond, is in this movie. So again, are they meeting in parallel worlds again? Who knows? But yeah, good movie, guys. Good movie. I gotta say. But again, if you're a fan of Pee Wee Herman, you like the first two movies, it's good to see him back just doing his own thing, It's weird seeing Pee Wee Herman with a hairnet. I'm not gonna lie. That kind of threw me off at first. But you get used to it. But I think Pee Wee Herman should not be locked down in the kitchen. I think the guy's gotta be free to do his own thing. But again, if you like Pee Wee Herman, you like the other movies, you'll love this movie. It's great seeing him back again. Then he did more voiceover work. American Dad, Pickle and Peanut, Call of Duty, Infinite Warfare. Listen, it's almost been 2 hours, guys. Bear with me. Then he was in Gotham. Okay, so Gotham, he was in a couple episodes of that, which is awesome. I always like Gotham. Gotham, someone gave a perfect description of Gotham. It's almost like you take the Adam West Batman and combine it with, more the 80s Batman. And that's basically what it is. It's basically an updated, sort of serious version of, the original Batman series with Adam West there. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. And I forgot, he did show up in a few episodes there, which was awesome. It was great to see him back in that again. So that was awesome. Wilson's Heart, more voiceover work. Minecraft Story Mode Season 2. Pen Zero, Part-Time Hero. A TV series called Mosaic, The Nightmare Before Christmas, in concert at the Hollywood something. I cut off there. But I didn't know they did that. That must have been pretty cool to see that live. Minecraft Story Mode, Voltron Legendary Defender, Tig Tone, What Do We Do in the Shadows? Hey, listen, that's up to you. DC's Legends of Tomorrow. That's right, he did show up in one episode of The Connors. It was, the Roseanne. Listen, it's not the same without Roseanne. I know Roseanne. I did a whole podcast about her recently when she said, what are you going to do? It's Roseanne, okay? But I think we all agree that the show is not the same without Roseanne there. I love John Goodman, don't get me wrong, but it's just not the same. But yeah, he did show up in an episode there. The Tom and Jerry Show, not the original. How many new versions are they going to do with this show? Just watch the old one. I don't know, for some reason back in the day they called or the one woman in the first episode of Tom and Jerry, like ever, called Tom Jasper. I don't know, go figure that one. But anyways, The Crown with a shadow, and the very last thing that he's done is in 2023. He did a voiceover work for a cartoon show. A lot of people know this, including me, called Bob's Burgers, and he played the voice of Pat. Good little show, not bad. I've seen a couple episodes here and there. I'm more of an Archer fan myself, but I know that show's coming to an end. One more season to go, and that's it. That's a shame, but it's a very good show. But yeah, Bob Burgers is pretty good too. So, as you can see, guys, like 122 jobs. That's pretty good. I mean, that's pretty awesome, and he's in some iconic stuff, But of course, he's always going to be known for being Pee Wee Herman, But don't forget, roles like Batman Returns, Blow, like all the voiceover work. I mean, the guy's a multi-talented guy. I mean, the guy is he's a good actor, It's just one of those things where, you create a character and it becomes literally bigger than life. It becomes bigger than you. For a long time, he had to show up in interviews. Well, he didn't have to, but he actually chose to go as that character. He's like, you know what? I know what I'm doing here. I know that, a lot of people will recognize me as this person. And I was just roll with it. So, he was cool with that. He admitted that. Like, he did it for, the entertainment of people and kids and all that. And that was pretty cool, man. So I just want to say rest in peace to Paul Reubens. You're awesome. You absolutely are a huge part of my childhood. I mean, with Pee Wee Herman, like I said, I haven't watched the show in years. I always remember it being a very trippy, out there show. I'm watching it now, and I'm still blown away by it. I mean, it is just, it's amazing what he created, and he paved the way for a lot of stuff. And like I always said, and I'll say it before, it was made in 1986. So he paved the way for a lot of stuff after that. TV shows, cartoons to get away with shit, movies as well. Like even, doing the whole like Tim Burton thing, him teaming up with Tim Burton doing his thing. I mean, it's phenomenal. Like it really is. And I had no idea the guy was sick. He kept it secret. And I believe he was 70 years old, which I put some olive oil on my skin sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, but I because I'm Greek, but I don't think it's doing shit. So I like to know what kept him so young. And I remember years ago, he showed up on, I think, Conan O'Brien, and he showed up dressed up as, obviously, Pee Wee Herman there. And I was like, fuck, he looks the same as he did 20, 25 years ago. Like, I mean, some people just don't age. They have that gene. So, maybe it's just a part of it is just always keeping busy and just, having that drive that he had to, do all these great things. So it was just amazing what he was able to accomplish. And, I'm really proud of him. And, he passed away a few weeks ago, and, I want to do this podcast and, say thank you to him and thank you for all the years of entertainment. It was, I still remember it's weird to say this, but it always connects me with the way I was growing up younger, like around 6, 7, like being with my grandma, my nonna, which is Italian term for grandma. And like, I always associate the Pee-wee's Playhouse with that and just that whole era, hanging out with my neighbor there and, my friends, and yeah, it's pretty crazy. So again, thank you very much, Mr. Paul Rubin. Rest in peace. I'm sure you're creating your own, Pee-wee's Playhouse in heaven there and making everybody laugh. So, thank you very much. And, not a lot of people I grew up with that were like Paul Reubens, aka Pee Wee Herman.
Hey Herman, I have a little sort of, I don't know what it's called, escape clause or something with Pee Wee Herman where I I can always mug. I can always, I mean, it was partly born out of mugging. A lot of my early improv work at the Groundlings involved just making faces because everybody else there was so much better at improv than me. And I knew I could make people laugh if I just made a face. So, and then I also have something that I do as Pee Wee Herman that I think is probably like really my fail-safe thing. And if you don't already know this, I'll teach you all something right now in closing. If you find yourself in a situation where you're telling some kind of like long, drawn-out story and you realize just toward the end, uh-oh, this has no punchline, or I have nowhere to go, or this isn't going to be funny, or this is you had to be there kind of situation, you wait one beat after you end, and then you go, I love that story. And you're out. You are out.